Who is RayDugga? Who is RayDugga? Man, RayDugga is somebody who ain't have it all good growing up. It wasn't a bunch of lilies and daisies and roses. It was more like thorns and thistles and, sticker briars. Grew up in Washington, D.C., in Northeast, a neighborhood called Paradise. Right? You would think Paradise would be something beautiful, something, to be desired after, but nah. The Paradise I grew up in, gun violence, drugs, addicts, crime. One way in, one way out neighborhood. That mentality is crazy because when living in a one way in, one way out neighborhood, the mentality make you feel stuck, right? So that's how I was, feeling stuck. Nothing really mattered to me outside of my neighborhood. And it's like you become territorial. So RayDugga, he was real territorial. Focus only on how I can make it, what I need to do, how to protect my own. At a young age, I started selling drugs, around 12 years old. I remember like it was yesterday. Bought some crack with one of my best friends. We bought some crack, and we began to sell it. Got good at it. Learned how to act quick, learned how to do math real quick. And we was hustlers. I remember the first time, I never forget it. I knocked on somebody's house to get them some drugs, and they looked at me, and I knew they was looking at me because I was young, so young, and they just was staring. They didn't want to buy from me, but they wanted to high so bad. They bought crack from a 12-year-old. At that moment, I knew, or so I thought. I said, man, I got something that's about to change my life. Lo and behold, I ain't know how it was going to change it. I thought it was for the good. But RayDugga, man, he had a rude awakening coming. Being in the streets, selling drugs, eventually you got to protect what's yours. You start getting money, people going to want to take it. You start getting money, the police start looking at you. You start getting a little bit of recognition, people start hating on you. There's a lot of people in the hood. That's why they call the hood like a basket of crabs. Anywhere in the ghetto, in the projects, or in any type of neighborhood that's like impoverished, it's like a basket of crabs, because the moment one person seems like they're getting out, here come every crab that's inside trying to pull them down. Everybody want to be the first one out. Nobody want to come up together. So that was my mentality. I never really put people in my business. Never really let people know what I was doing, but they only see how you moving. Cause I ain't hanging around, they like, man, he up to something, So, my rude awakening came one day. I got shot. I was 14 years old.
There was an altercation in the zoo itself between groups of young people.
Witnesses say a fight inside the zoo between at least two groups escalated until somebody pulled a gun.
And I almost died from bleeding out internally, from getting shot in my main artery.
A 14-year-old boy shot in the leg gave a thumbs up as paramedics brought him to Children's Hospital. He's now in serious but stable condition.
You would think at 14 getting shot, it'll wake you up. But for me, nah, it just made me a little bit more quicker to do the things that I thought I needed to do. But I was building up a reputation of, man, y'all ain't gonna see what's up with you. Y'all better stop playing with him. And that's what I wanted. I wanted to be known for somebody that you just don't play with. You don't cross, you don't challenge. You don't talk about behind his back, you don't do that. I wanted to be known for somebody that was respected, or what I thought was respect, right? After I got shot, years went by. I'm carrying guns. You know what happens when you have something that's, of that nature, you feel like empowered. And one day, I was 22 years old, and I had a reason to use it. And I did. I committed a murder at 22 years old. So that situation happened, and I got caught for it. I got caught and I got locked up, 22 years old, facing a life sentence, first-degree murder. Looking back, I regret everything that happened about the situation. Because when I was in that cell, I just started thinking about, like, man, how did I end up here? How did I wound up somewhere where I lost all control of my life when, since I was able to come outside on my own, I stayed in control? How did I end up in a place where I have no rights over my own life? People tell me what to do every minute of the day. And being in that situation, that was eye-opening. That's what prison would, that's what it showed me. What am I really doing with my life? So I was in a cell. And one thing about me, I wasn't scared to be in jail. I wasn't worried about being around other prisoners or inmates. Because in my mind, I'm just like them, if not worse. There may be some people worse than me, but I don't see a difference. I was just ready to tap into how I need to live this life now, in here. Whether I get a knife or a couple knives, or I ain't want nobody to get too close to me, or whether I click up with someone that I already knew. But I just was ready to just adapt to the prison life. It's just like the streets. Everybody is looking out for themselves and they willing to do whatever to stay alive. So when I was in there, I was like, I don't want to die on the streets. I don't want to go back out here and try to figure this thing out again. I don't want nobody to take my life. So I was really in my pride, and I was like, you know what? I got to find a way to win. Because staying in prison, to me, I was losing. Going back on the streets, having to do it all over again to wound up back in prison, that was losing. Now, I still wanted the street life, but I wanted to figure out another way. To go back on the streets and have somebody kill me, that was definitely going to be a loss. So I was like, man, I have to find some way to win. Only way I thought that I was going to win is if I take my own life. I thought that taking my life will be winning, because nobody took my life, nobody sentenced me to life. I stayed in control. Crazy. Thinking that taking your own life is staying in control. That's what I was thinking. And in that moment, I started contemplating suicide in my cell, plotting it out, seeing how it was going to happen. Not worrying about my family, not worrying about my 2-year-old son I had at the time that I just left out there. Not worrying about anything. Just still selfish, prideful, willing to win, do whatever it takes to get that W. So I thought. So I'm sitting on the bunk. It's about 3:30 in the morning. Feed up time, child time, breakfast. Everybody gone out. I'm like, this is my opportunity, because I don't want nobody to see me and stop me. I don't want to have an attempted suicide and then get stopped. So I had the sheet ready. I was gonna hang myself in the cell. Everybody out walking around, getting their trays, sitting down. The officer made his last round for breakfast, checking on people, making sure that there's no last minute people straggling trying to eat. fake sleep in my bunk. He go past, I get up. I sit on my bunk. And I'm like, okay, let's do this thing. So, as I'm getting everything prepared, I realize what I'm about to do, I can't come back from it. And it hit me. I started to have a little doubts. Not so much, the process of taking my life, but it was something inside of me that I didn't know was there. It was a reserve that I had yet tapped into. Anything that I ever wanted to do, I just did. No one could have control over my life. Whatever I decided to do, it was going to get done. In that moment, though, it was weird because I was feeling like questioning my own decision. I never questioned my own decisions before. That's how I wound up where I was. But it was a reserve in me that wasn't fully convinced that this is what I needed to do. And because of that reserve, it had me just yell out in the cell. I said, it just has to be another way. And I promise, the moment I said that, I heard the voice of God in my cell say, try me. Try me. 2 words. 2 words just cranked my whole existence, changed my whole life. The tears that I was crying, thinking what I was thinking, they immediately dried up. And I just started calling out to God right there. I went from contemplating suicide to saying it has to be another way, to just hearing God say, try me, to now praising God. And what it seems like was 1 second. All of that, it just seemed like 1 second went by. That's how powerful that moment was. It was as if God himself broke into my natural existence and allowed me to hear his voice. He spoke. I felt so unworthy at that time, a feeling that I never felt before. It was a different unworthy. It wasn't comparing myself to my peers, trying to fit in type of unworthy. No, it was I see myself and I can see God's love, and I just felt so unworthy. But the unworthy was it was causing me to really like worship God. I couldn't explain it. I was just saying, you got it. You got my life. You can have my life. You can have it. You can have it. I give it to you. You can have me. You can have it. This all you wanted the whole time? You can have my life. I went on for about 4 or 5 minutes just saying that over and over, repeating it. You can have my life. You can have my life. If all you wanted was my life, you can have it. That's it. If God is speaking to me, a murderer, I'm in prison for murder, you would think someone like that deserves to die, deserves to be in prison, deserves to be judged, deserves everything that's coming to him. But for God to speak to me in that moment and say, I don't want you to take your life. You still have one more thing that you haven't tried, and that's me. I don't know why he chose it. Some people thoughts of God, they picture him standing over me, looking down like, waiting on me to take my life. Because that would even the score. That would bring some restitution. That would make the playing fields even for what I've done. That would be the perfect price to pay for doing what I did. But for God to come to me and say, hey, try me, it rocked my entire world. Cranked my whole understanding of everything that I thought was life. Life made so much sense in that one moment. It made everything clear. I'm loved. I don't have to be prideful. I don't have to figure this thing out. God, you really exist. You really see everything. Because you have to see, because you see me right now. And you care, and you're God enough to stop things and intervene and show up. I don't know why he chose me. I still ask myself today sometimes, and this be a little guilt. I feel bad about what happened. Someone lost their life so I could be saved. I don't get that. Who is RayDugga? Someone who was on the verge of taking his life. Someone who attempted suicide. RayDugga is somebody who God said, not yet. You still have one more thing left to do. RayDugga is somebody who tried God. And God showed up that he was good. Who is RayDugga now?
And I accepted them into my life that day. If God can say to somebody, wretched, too good to allow the enemy to do that to me. So the moment I was sitting on my bunk and I said it just has to be another way, God said, there is. He said, I heard his voice sitting right on my bunk and I gave my life to him that day. I'm walking intentionally towards my purpose. And whatever I hear, eventually it'll get behind me as I keep moving forward.
My father.
Daddy, daughter, swinging time.
Husband. Recording artist. I love who I am. I love God.
God is my truth, God is my truth, God is my truth, yeah. God is my truth, God is my truth, God is my truth.
Hey, God's my drip, yeah.
Let's go. Drippin' this glory all over me. Let's go. All this drippin' on me, baby. Drippin' on me, baby. Drippin' this glory all over me. Drippin' this glory all over me. Look at my trip, wet like a lift. Glory to God, check on my list. Giving them praise, flicking my wrist. Covering it over, I'm taking a sip. I'm running it out, you running your lip. Been walking it down, you hoeing I trip. They don't stand a chance, I can't even sit. With all this glory on me. Lighten up ain't that deep. Lord, let it fall on me.
So this is what happened at I was 13 years old. And this breezeway right here, me and my two men, we had came right here because we heard some fighting going on over there in that court. We was all the way down there, a couple courts down, we was gambling. I was gambling with some old heads too. First time, I ain't even gonna lie, it was my first time gambling, so I wasn't really on the dice, I was side betting. So I ended up making like $1,600 off side betting. So I was just like ready to buy ball before I lose. I'm like, I'm gonna take this win. So we get down here, because we heard some fighting, we heard somebody was fighting. So boom, as we down here listening, I'm literally standing right here. I'm standing right here. The other man standing right there. Another man standing like right there. So the dude come walking right there. It was like, dope fiend. He was like, man, get on the ground. Get on the ground, give me that money, give me that money, give me that money. My man hit the corner, boom, because he was already right here hit the corner, boom. And I tried to like, kind of like creep with him. Man, the dude was walking up with the joint like this, like, man, put the money down, give me the money, ain't playing, I know you hit, I know you hit. I was like, dang. So I was like, man, I ain't hit nothing, I ain't hit. I had some money in my back pocket, I had a little bit of ones in this little pocket right here. So I was like, man, I ain't hit. Man, my man gonna look at the dude and say, man, just give him the money before he shoot us. I look at him like, I ain't wild. So I'm like, man, I gotta get out this breezeway, man, before I die. So I take the little ones out my back, on my crack pocket, throw the jumps, and get the hitting, get the running. He hit off at me, bow, 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 bow. I'm like, I fall off the first two jumps, boom. I realize I ain't hit, I get back up, he's still hitting at me, bow, 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 bow. Joints hit the trash can and everything. Next thing you know, I hit the corner, boom. Man, I kick up dust. I'm like, oh man, I don't feel no burning. I don't feel no blood leaking. I'm like, I'm good. Man, I realized later on, man, that wasn't nothing but the grace of God. So he hit me. He was standing like 2 feet away from me. Point blank range. Like, I know he was a dope fiend, but still, bro, you can't miss it. Somebody pointing right at you, like right here, like this close. Pop, 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 pop. 6 Jones went off. All I hear, ping in the trash can. Ping, 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 ping. Ping in the dumpster right there. Ping in that junk. Ping, 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 ping. Man, Slim. God's been good for real, man.